Pere Lachaise is the most visited cemetery in the world. Founded in 1804, it's known for its beautiful mausoleums and tree-lined avenues, and for being the final resting place of famous figures such as Oscar Wilde and Jim Morrison. But according to legend, it's also home to the centuries-old remains of a Russian countess, who might not have foreseen the cemetery's popularity, perhaps concerned about a lack of visitors during her eternal rest. She supposedly promised the family fortune to anyone who would spend a year and a day with her in a tomb. The legend concerns Elisabeth Demidoff, descendant of a Russian industrialist family who made their money in salt and fur. In life, she married the Russian Count Nikolai Nikitic Demidoff, who was also heir to an industrialist fortune, this time in iron. The marriage was not a happy one, however, and the pair eventually separated, at which point Elisabeth went to live in Paris. She died at the age of 40 in 1818, and in death, it's said, she made a most unusual request. The story goes more or less like this. After Demidoff died, her relatives were shocked to discover that her will included a provision, leaving millions of francs to the person who would spend a year and a day in her elaborate white tomb alongside her body, which was resplendent in a crystal coffin. More detailed accounts add that the walls and ceiling of the tomb were covered in mirrors, so that whichever way the watcher might turn, he or she would always be confronted by the spectacle of the dead princess. As one widely republished newspaper story put it, the tomb's living guest was not to have any diversion, except that of reading by the funeral light at the head of the coffin, and was condemned never to exchange a word with anyone during the 365 days, not even with the person who was once a day to bring the watchers food. Only in the evenings, once the gates of the cemetery were closed, or in the very early mornings, were they allowed to take a stroll around the cemetery grounds. While many people had attempted the countess's challenge, the request had yet to be fulfilled, in part because people were driven mad while trying by unearthly and mysterious sounds. At least one turned into a jabbering idiot, the newspapers said.